There is a moment when silence becomes unbearable, when the absence of God feels like a physical weight, when a child must lead the blind. Samuel stood in that moment, and everything changed. Samuel, a boy in the shadow of collapse. One whisper from God could shatter the silence or leave the sanctuary to rot. You feel it too, don't you? That hush before the storm breaks. The breath caught in the throat of history. What happens when no one remembers how to listen? The oil in the lamp sputters. A thin thread of flame trembles against the wick. Not fire, memory of fire. It casts no warmth, only a ghost light licking the edges of the veil. The air tastes old, dust-laden, like breath drawn from a tomb. This is Shiloh, not a city ablaze with worship, but a husk, a shell where ritual chews the same dry rite day after day. Eli, bent, heavy in the bones, his eyes clouded, milk white. He blinks toward the lamp, but sees nothing. Not the flame, not the gold leaf peeling from the altar, not the weight settling over the people. His hands rest on his knees, thick fingers curled like roots. A priest, yes, but one who has grown deaf to the tremor beneath the earth. The sun's outside, laughter sharp as flint. Wine spilled on the steps, sacrifices divided before the smoke rises. The stench of greed soaks into the linen curtains. Inside, the ark, silent, sealed, gold-plated acacia wood. Cherubim faces frozen in solemn gaze. No thunder, no voice, no cloud, only stillness. The mercy seat, empty of movement. The presence, if it lingers, does not speak. The holiest object in Israel. And yet, no word has come, not for years, not since the elders forgot how to tremble. The tabernacle breathes in low light. The lamp, still burning, but low, so low. The flame leans sideways, as if exhausted. The wick drowns in its own ash. The oil, nearly gone. One breath could snuff it. One breath could save it. The table of showbread stands untouched. 12 loaves, dry, cracked at the edges. Offerings made without hunger, without awe. Outside, the night hums. Crickets, distant dogs, the groan of a cart on uneven stone. But here, inside the veil, nothing. No voice, no vision, no dream. The word of the Lord, rare, not absent, but rare, like rain in drought, like breath in a sealed room. The people speak of God, but their words are hollow, echoes in a well with no water. And the boy, Samuel, small frame curled on the floor, linen wrapped around him like a second skin. His breath, soft, even. A child's sleep, untroubled, or so it seems. His hand rests near the hem of his robe, fingers slightly curled. He does not dream of thrones, does not stir with prophecy. He is a servant, nothing more, called, but not yet awakened. The tension coils in the dark, not in shouts, not in storms, but in the space between breaths. The pause before a name is spoken, the moment before a hand lifts the curtain. God has been silent long enough for faith to calcify into habit, long enough for corruption to wear the robes of holiness. But tonight, the air shifts. A change in pressure, a weight at the threshold. The courtyard ends. The holy place begins. A line in the stone, a step up. A veil, heavy with embroidery, hangs motionless. No wind, no movement. And yet, something waits. Just beyond sight, just beyond sound. The boundary where man meets the unseen, where duty ends and listening begins. Who hears? The old priest, blind and burdened? Or the boy, asleep, unaware of the storm gathering in the silence? One will answer. One will rise. One will speak a name that cracks the sky. But which one? The lamp flickers. The oil dips. The flame leans, then steadies. For now, just for now. The night holds its breath. The earth leans in, and the word, after years, stirs in the dark. The cliff, sheer, a drop without handhold. Below, no sea, no sand, no soft landing. Only stone, jagged, waiting. Above, the sky, indifferent. No cloud, no wing. The nation balanced here, not on law, not on promise, on the breath of a boy who does not yet know his name in the dark. Eli's sons, Hophni, Phinehas, men with priestly robes and thieves' hands. They took the meat before the smoke rose, took the best cuts, grease on their chins, laughter in the courtyard while widows wept at the gate. They did not know the name, not its weight, not its fire. Their knowledge of holiness, ritual without reverence, sacrifice without surrender, the altar stained not with blood, but with appetite. Eli, father, judge, high priest, his spine bent like a bow left too long in the heat, his breath shallow, each inhale a calculation. How much longer before the house collapses? He hears the footsteps of judgment in his son's boots, knows the oracle spoken by the man in rags, the curse on his line. His daughters-in-law will weep. His grandsons will not inherit the ephod. The lamp in the tabernacle will gutter and die, and he, blind, heavy, can do nothing, cannot strike, cannot bless. Only wait. Only carry the dread like a stone in his chest. The land forgets. Names blur. The songs grow thin. Children mock the old words. The elders speak of Sinai, but their voices tremble, unsure if the mountain still burns. The Philistines press in. Not just with chariots, with customs, with gods carved from iron and ash. Molech's furnace glows beyond the border. Parents whisper of children walking into flame. The treaties, once sworn by thunder, are now dust in the wind. No one remembers the cost of covenant. No prophet, no dreamer, no seer with eyes rolled back, mouth full of fire. The word of the Lord, rare, not absent, but rare, like a single drop in a cracked cistern, like a footprint in a storm-washed road. The people strain, ears pricked, lips parted, but the sky stays mute. The silence, no peace, no rest, a wound that won't close, a presence that refuses to speak. The absence hums, a low drone beneath the chants, beneath the prayers, a vibration in the bones. Samuel, small, bare feet on cold stone, a child wrapped in linen, not by choice, but by vow. His mother's tears soaked into the fabric. He serves where holiness should dwell, but the air here is stale, thick. He carries water, sweeps ash, lights the wick, wears the ephod, fine linen, fringed with blue, a garment of office, but his hands are clean, his voice unspoiled. He does not yet know the difference between a man's call and the voice that shaped the stars. The ephod, soft, heavy on his shoulders, too large, slipping at the seams, a symbol of office he did not earn, a burden he does not understand. He wears it like a borrowed coat, but the threads, woven with gold, still catch the dim light, still mark him, set him apart. Even in corruption, holiness find a vessel. The prophecy hangs, unseen, unspoken, but present, like the smell of rain before the storm. The man of God came, spoke, vanished, left only the echo of doom. Now, no one dares name it. Not Eli, not the servants, not the women who come at dawn with flour and oil. But it lingers, in the way the lamp flickers, in the way the ark seems to lean backward as if recoiling from what is to come. Samuel's innocence, a sharp contrast, not ignorance, not naivety, a purity of intent. He rises before dawn, answers every call, bows to Eli, sweeps the floor, his heart unclenched, unspoiled by power, unbent by fear. While the house of Eli rots from within, he stands, small, steady, like a sapling in a field of dead trees. The cliff trembles, not with earthquake, with silence, with the unbearable tension of a nation balanced on the edge of divine abandonment. If the lamp dies, if no voice comes, the light goes out. Not just in Shiloh, in every village, every heart. The people will wander, blind, stumbling over stones they once called holy. To hear was once to live. The elders knew. At Horeb, the mountain shook with sound. At the Red Sea, the waters split at a word. But now, no one knows how to listen. Ears tuned to gossip, to trade, to the clink of Philistine silver. Without a prophet, the people are like sheep in a ravine, no shepherd, no path, only the wind, carrying dust and decay. The pressure builds, not in shouts, not in war drums, in the stillness between heartbeats, in the space between one breath and the next. The heavens hold their breath, the earth leans, the stars pause. God, about to speak, not to the old, not to the powerful, not to the anointed by blood, but to a child. A boy who answers not because he understands, but because he is trained to obey. The hierarchy cracks, the line of priests broken. The future, whispered not in the ears of kings, but in the dark. To a servant who does not yet know the weight of the name he will one day carry. Darkness, not empty, full, thick with the weight of unspoken things. The hour before dawn, when shadows pool in corners like spilled ink, when breath hangs visible, when stone exhales the cold of centuries. Samuel lies still, not on a bed, on the floor, cold beneath his back, linen wrapped tight, A child's posture, curled, trusting. The air above him barely moves. The veil, still. The altar, cold. But the lamp, it burns. A single flame, golden, flickering, oil low. Not yet gone. Not yet. The flame leans west, then steadies, as if holding its breath. A voice, not loud, not thunder, but sharp, clear, like a thread pulled taut through silence. Samuel. He stirs, eyes open, not startled, alert, trained. Here I am, voice soft, obedient. He rises, bare feet on stone, cold, rough. He moves toward the old man's chamber, the corridor narrow, walls close, his breath ahead of him, a wisp, a ghost. Eli, bent, wrapped in wool, eyes closed, mouth open, snoring once, then still. Samuel touches the curtain, pulls it aside. Here I am, for you called me. Eli blinks, slow, groggy. I did not call. Go back, lie down. Voice thick, husky, like stones grinding. Samuel turns, returns, lies down, pulls linen over shoulders, stares at the ceiling. The beam of the lamp cuts the dark. A golden blade. He waits. Nothing. Only the drip of oil, the creak of wood, the pulse in his throat. Then, again, the voice, same tone, same name. Samuel. He rises. Again, feet on stone, cold, same path, same curtain, same words. Here I am, for you called me. Eli sits up this time, rubs his face. My son, he says, I did not call. Lie down again. Pause, sigh. It is not me. Samuel returns, lies down. But now, something shifts. Not in the room, in him. A thread pulled, a door cracked. He does not know the name, not truly. Not the voice that shaped the stars, not the breath that parted seas. He knows duty, service, obedience, but not this. Not the weight behind a single syllable. The third time, the voice comes, not louder, but deeper, as if rising from the earth. Samuel. He rises again. Feet, stone, curtain. Here I am, for you called me. Eli does not speak at once. He sits, hands on knees, head bowed. Then, slowly, he understands. The flame, the hour, the 3 times, the boy's innocence, the silence of years. It clicks, like a lock turning. Go, he says, voice low. Lie down again. And if he calls you, say this. Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening. Samuel returns, lies down. But now he listens, not with ears only, with skin, with bones, with the space behind his ribs. The lamp burns, oil lower, flame smaller, but still light. A golden thread across the floor. The ark, still, silent, but present, like a held breath. Then, movement, not of feet, not of wind. A presence, standing, not seen, felt. The air thickens, the flame stills. No flicker. The voice, again. Samuel. This time, he does not rise. This time, he answers from the floor, from the dark, from the place of surrender. Speak, he says, voice quiet, steady. for your servant is listening. No shout, no cry, just those words, offered, given, a hand opened, a will laid down. The tension snaps, not with noise, with stillness, the kind that follows thunder, the kind that follows a name spoken in the dark. And the voice speaks, not in anger, not in fire, but in clarity, cold, sharp, judgment on Eli, on his house, on sons who defiled the altar, who turned holiness into hunger, who took what was sacred and made it common. The word lands, heavy, like stones in water, sinking. Samuel does not move, does not flinch. He listens, not to understand, but to receive, to carry, to hold. Then, silence. The presence, gone. The flame flickers. The oil, nearly gone. The first light of dawn, gray at the edges of the veil. Samuel rises, not as he did before, not as a boy answering a master, but as one who has heard, who has stood in the breach, who has spoken the words that open the sky. He returns to his place, lies down. But the linen feels different, the stone less cold, the air changed. He is not the same. The boy is gone. In his place, a vessel, a channel, a mouth for the unseen. The lamp still burns, but now it is not just a wick in oil. It is a signal, a beacon, a single light cutting through the dark, like a hand reaching down, like a voice breaking silence, like a name spoken once, echoing through time. Samuel, listening, awake, a prophet born not in fire, but in stillness, not in power, but in surrender. The night ends. The world does not know it yet, but the word has returned. And it began with two words: speak, listening, dawn, not yet risen, but coming. A hush across the peaks, stone edged in gold. Light spills over the ridgeline, slow, deliberate, like oil poured from a flask. It pools in the valleys, gilds the snowcaps, catches the frost on the grass. A single beam, sharp, strikes forward, blinds the eye, not harsh, holy, as if the sky itself cracked open to let one truth through. Samuel, a boy, a name whispered in the dark, but now, echo, not just a life, a shape, a shadow cast backward from another, one who walks ahead, whose footsteps fill the hollows of this story. He said, "Here I am," not once, not twice, 3 times, voice small, steady, no pride, no delay, just presence, offered, given, a posture, knees bent before a voice he did not know. And from the silence beyond time, another voice answers, "Here I am." Not summoned, not startled, spoken before the stars were hung, before dust took breath. The Son, eternal, turns toward the Father, not in duty, in delight. "Here I am," he says, before the world begins, before the cross is dreamed. Hebrews, 1 line, carved like stone. "Behold, I have come to do your will, O God." Not a reaction, a mission. Not obedience under pressure. Obedience is nature, as breath, as blood. He walks where Samuel only pointed. He speaks where Samuel only listened. He is the word that shaped the ear. Samuel's ears opened in the dark. His ministry, born in stillness, in waiting, in the space between breaths. But Jesus, his hands move because his ears are tuned. The Son can do nothing by himself, he says, but only what he sees the Father doing. Every step, every word, every healing, every tear, not impulse, not invention, imitation, perfect, divine. Samuel did not know the Lord. Not then, not fully. He heard, but did not recognize the voice that split the sea. Jesus, is that voice? Is that Lord? Is the name behind the call? He doesn't learn the Father. He shares his heart. He dwells in his chest. He speaks from the same breath, the lamp in Shiloh, flickering, oil low, a wick drowning in its own residue, but still light. That flame, more than ritual, more than routine, a sign, a promise that God has not left the room, but Christ, he is the flame that never wanes. The light no darkness can smother, not flickering, not fading, not dependent on oil. He burns with his own fire, the light of the world, not lit, not kindled, self-sustaining, self-giving. Samuel stood between a nation and its ruin, prayed, interceded, spoke, a bridge, a channel. But Jesus, he is the bridge, the only way, the great high priest, not entering a tabernacle made by hands, but heaven itself, not offering blood of bulls, but his own, once for all. He pleads, not with words, with wounds. Judgment came through Samuel's lips, heavy, final, on Eli, on his house, on sons who treated holiness like a meal. But Christ, he took that judgment, swallowed it, bore it, not pronounced it from a distance, felt it in his bones, on the tree, in the dark, when the sky turned black and the earth shook, not for Eli's house, but for ours. Eli could not stop his sons. His hands were weak, his voice ignored. A father broken by his own failure. But the Father, he restrained sin, not by law, not by threat, by sending the Son into the fire, into the filth, into the grave, and raising him victorious, sin bound, death undone. Speak, Lord, Samuel said, from the floor, from the dark, from the place of surrender. And Christ on the cross said, "It is finished." Not a plea, a declaration, not the beginning of prophecy, the end of sacrifice, the word that seals the covenant, the breath that renews the world. All true hearing flows from that moment, from that cross, from that tomb, from that voice that said, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." To hear God now is not to wait for thunder, not to watch for flames. It is to listen for the voice of the Son, the one who walks among the lampstands, the one who calls by name. John 10:10, one verse, clear as dawn. My sheep hear my voice, not the voice of angels, not the echo of prophets. His voice, gentle, known, familiar, like breath on the neck, like a hand on the shoulder, like a name spoken in the dark by one who has always known you. The mountain glows, the light spreads, the world still sleeping, does not see, but it is changed, because the boy who listened points to the man who obeyed. And the man who obeyed has opened the ears of the dead. Pine needles, soft, giving beneath bare feet. Sunlight spills in slanted gold, cutting through the canopy like slow knives of grace. The air, cool, resin-scented, moves without hurry. A breath drawn deep and held. This is not the clamor of revelation, not thunder, not flame. This is the hush where listening begins. You, not the boy, not the prophet. You, standing now in the quiet between one step and the next. Is the word distant, thin, faint as smoke? Or is it that your ears are full of other voices, louder, sharper, closer? God speaks, always. The trouble is not silence from above. It is posture below. Are you bent forward, straining toward tasks, toward answers, toward noise? Or have you lowered yourself? Have you let your knees meet earth? Have you let your spine uncoil against the ground? To lie down is not surrender to sleep. It is surrender to presence. The body slack, the jaw unclenched, the palms open, upturned, empty, not reaching, receiving. This is how the ear learns its trade, not in motion, but in stillness, not in demand, but in deference. And what of the Eli in your life, the well-meaning voice that names every rustle a ghost? That interprets your ache as error? That fills your silence with advice before you've even formed the question? Whose words pile like stones on your chest? To say, "Speak, Lord," is to risk discomfort. It is to invite a voice that may not soothe, but shape. That may not affirm, but unsettle. That may not bless your plans, but dissolve them. It is to open the door not to a guest, but to a king. You are not a scholar gathering wisdom, not a consumer scrolling for insight. You are a servant, one called by name, one whose only task is to answer, not to understand. Obedience begins in the muscle of attention, in the quieting of the inner chatter, in the refusal to speak until spoken to. Now, name the sons of Eli in your days, the pings, the alerts, the voices that never pause, the demands that wear urgency like a crown, the thoughts that circle like crows. Let them fall, one by one. Let the forest floor take them. Let the moss swallow their echo. Be still, not because you have arrived, but because you are willing to wait, willing to be found, willing to be shaped by a voice that knows the number of hairs, the weight of sighs, the shape of your unspoken ache. Say it, not in pride, not in performance. Say it from the floor, from the dark, from the place where only truth can rise. Here I am. No grand gesture, no raised hand, just breath, just bone, just the quiet offering of a life that has stopped running. Now, listen, not for thunder, not for wind, not for anything that startles. Listen for the nearness that requires no sound, the presence that does not announce itself. The breath that moves through the trees not as storm, but as sigh. The lamp. It still burns, not in a tabernacle of stone, but in the hollow of your chest, in the space behind your ribs, in the quiet that remains when every other voice has gone. He is speaking. Still.